Hello everyone. In this session, let us discuss the term parallel processing more precisely. When you design a computer system, certainly the main agenda or a goal for you is to always increase the throughput. This is the main agenda. No matter whoever you really are, you could be a CPU designer or a kernel designer, software designer or a hardware designer. But if you are a designer related to the computer system, the main focus always for you to increase the throughput. That is, we need to speed the system up. In the 1970s, it was a uniprocessor system. The computer system used to serve as a uniprocessor system. A computer system will be able to execute only one program at a time. There was no concept of multi-programming at all. But in the initial days of 1980s, multi-programming has been invented. What is multi-programming? Multi-programming is not parallel programming. A computer system cannot execute programs in parallel. Rather, multiple programs can be executed within a computer system. That is, rather than executing only one program at a time, the computer system deals with more than one program at a time. How it is possible? Let us have a look at. In the main memory, rather than loading a single program, we will be able to load more programs. Our central processing unit will deal with these programs more than one at a time. That is, let us say the P1 is sent to the CPU for execution. CPU decided to execute P1 initially, but CPU doesn't finish with the P1. Before P1 finishes, CPU will switch to P2. Before P2 finishes, CPU will rapidly switch to P3. Before P3 finishes, CPU will rapidly switch to P4. That is, only up to a partial extent, each and every program will get executed, after which it will be sent out. Then it is going to get one more program, and after which it is going to get one more program. So before it completes with one program, it may suspend that program to get another program. As these switches occur so rapidly, the user who loads this program will get a feel that all these programs are getting executed parallelly. But let me tell you, this is not parallel processing at all. All the programs are not getting executed simultaneously or parallelly. Rather, all these programs are executed concurrently. This is only a concurrency. Concurrency meaning more than one program will be dealt by the CPU, will not be executed by the CPU, will only be dealt by the CPU. CPU will switch in between these programs so rapidly that a programmer or a designer will get an illusion that all these programs are getting executed in parallel. Let me tell you something very clear. If you do have one CPU, that is a single CPU, in a single CPU system, parallel processing can never happen. Programs can never execute it in parallel. If you want to go for parallel processing, if you want to execute the programs in parallel, you need to go for multiprocessor system. In only multiprocessor system, the programs can execute in parallel, but not in a single CPU. But what about a single CPU? Most of the times, in our day-to-day usage, we only look at the single processor system. All our systems are single processor systems. So how about them? How are you going to increase the speed up? Can a single CPU execute more programs at a time? Of course. We already had a look at the concurrency. Concurrency will switch in between these programs which are available in the main memory so rapidly that a programmer or a user will get an illusion that all the programs are getting executed parallel. But how we are going to make a single CPU speed it up? How we are going to increase more throughput in a single CPU in which parallel processing cannot be possible at all? Let us have a look at. The term parallel processing is the brainchild of somebody called Mr. J.J. Flynn. Mr. J.J. Flynn has suggested this parallel processing in 4 ways. He has 4 ideas to make the computer processing parallel. For this, he has 4 ideas. What are those? These 4 ideas are as follows. The first one is SI-SD systems. Second one is SIMD systems, and the third one is MISD systems, and the fourth one is MISD systems. What are these SISD, SIMD, MISD, and MIMD? Let us have a look at. For that, let me take the help of my main memory. This is the memory. Of course, I do have a CPU which executes the programs which are available in main memory. You know that the memory has been divided into two physical partitions. One is instruction memory and one more is data memory. The operands for the instructions which are available in the instruction memory will be available in the data memory. When the CPU executes the instructions, it is going to fetch the instruction from the instruction memory and the data element from the data memory. Let us understand this concept more precisely. When a program is being executed, the CPU is going to execute a stream of instructions. That is, the CPU is going to fetch the instructions one by one. All the fetched instructions by the CPU is going to constitute something called an instruction stream. The instructions which are fetched by the CPU are going to constitute an instruction stream. Similarly, the data elements that are fetched by the CPU is going to constitute something called a data stream. So now you can understand SISD, SIMD, MISD, and MIMD. An SISD system will have only one instruction stream and have only one data stream. An SIMD system, we do have a single instruction stream, but a multiple data stream will be fetched to support the instruction stream, which is only one. Let us understand how this concept is going to work. You clearly know that this instruction memory is contiguous and this data memory is not. Again, let us discuss this contiguity in a nutshell. Let us understand this briefly. All the instructions which are available in the instruction memory are contiguous, are placed one after another. That is, when some instruction gets executed, there will always be a next instruction gets executed, which is positioned right after the current instruction. That is, let us say, currently the computer system is dealing with 23rd instruction. This is 23rd instruction, let us say. Right after 23rd instruction, which is the instruction that is going to get executed? Obviously, 24th instruction, right? So every time when an instruction is getting executed, next instruction that is going to be executed will always be placed right in the very next position. That is all about instruction stream. The reason of this contiguity is purely because the nature of a program, when you define a program, you define the program as a set of instructions. What is a set? Set meaning all the instructions are positioned one after another. This is the definition of a program, which requires that instruction memory to be contiguous. But when it comes to the data memory, the guarantee cannot be given. The data elements are scattered. The first instruction data element might be available in 200 location in the data memory. That doesn't mean that the second instruction data element will be available at 201. No, it is not possible. If the first instruction data element is available at 200 location, second instruction data element may be available somewhere later in the data memory, maybe in 300, maybe or 350 or 400. Nobody knows, because the data memory is non-contiguous. This is the difference between contiguity and non-contiguity. And the instructions are contiguous due to the nature of a program, and the data memory is non-contiguous because data items are not required to be positioned one after another. So here in this slide, let us understand. I fetched an instruction stream. In this instruction stream, I do have a few instructions. Let us say in this program, the current program has 1000 instructions, in which the current instruction stream fetched 100 to 200 instructions, meaning the current instruction has 100 instructions in it. Now you can clearly understand all the instructions that are available in the instruction stream may not have their data elements in the single data stream that is fetched. This is the problem. That is, if you do have a single instruction stream and single data stream system. This system will only fetch one instruction stream. To support this instruction stream, we will get only one data stream. Due to the non-contiguity nature of this data memory, we have no guarantee that all the instructions that are available in the instruction stream have their data elements in the data stream. So we will go for SIMD systems. In SIMD, to support one instruction stream, we will fetch multiple data streams. Maybe one instruction's data might be available in the first data stream that is fetched. Second instruction's data element might be available in the second data stream that we have fetched. And the third instruction's data element might be available back in the first data stream. So all the instructions might get their data elements from the different data streams which are fetched simultaneously. Obviously, here you can understand the speed up will get increased. We don't fetch the instructions, rather we don't fetch the data elements separately every time when an instruction requires them. Before the hand itself, we will be able to fetch many data streams to support the single instruction stream that we have fetched. In this manner, single instruction and multiple data stream will have a more speed up, rather a more throughput than a single instruction and a single data stream. Next, we will understand what is multiple instruction and a single data stream. Here, in the multiple instructions and a single data stream, we will fetch many instruction streams. But to support all these instruction streams, the system will only fetch a single data stream. IS1, instruction stream 1, instruction stream 2, instruction stream n. But to support all these instruction streams, we will fetch only one single data stream. Here, it can directly be ruled out because one data stream cannot support all the instruction streams. Moreover, a single data stream is not sufficient to support a single instruction stream, as we have already discussed. How a single data stream is going to support multiple instruction streams? So, MISD systems are not possible to implement at all because a single data stream is unable to support, will definitely unable to support multiple instruction streams that are fetched. So, MISD systems cannot be implemented at all. This concept is only theoretical concept, but there is no practical approach for this MISD systems. Now let us understand the final MIMD. What is MIMD? As you can understand, instruction stream will be fetched in multiple. Data stream that are going to be fetched will also be in multiple in number. That is, many instruction streams will get fetched, in addition to which many data streams will also get fetched. This is what multiple instruction stream and multiple data streams. This is purely a multiprocessors concept. So, our pipelining will belong to the first category, that is single instruction stream and a single data stream. In single instruction stream, single data stream, we understood that only one instruction stream and there is only one data stream in which there are absolutely no parallel processing capabilities at all. So what we do is we will implement a technique, something called pipelining, to increase the throughput in a single instruction stream and a single data stream systems. We will understand about the pipelining in the next session. Thank you.